Hey friends, this is the Miss Avofi from Our Half Acre Homestead, and today we're going to make soap with fat drippings that I've collected all year. Okay, the first thing about making soap from waste fats is that you have to wash the fat. Now some of this fat is really nice and thick and white, so first things first, I'm going to take that pot and I'm going to put a clean pot on here that has at least 3 inches of water in the bottom. See that down there? That's all jelly broth. So we're going to take the fat off the top first. And all I did to get this was when I was getting ready to can some dry ground or cooked ground pork. So I had to cook the pork first. So what I did was I lined my roasting pan with parchment paper and I filled it. See, like that's just a nice thick plate of fat. And I filled the roasting pan that was lined with parchment with the ground pork that I had just ground from our recent butchering. And then I slow roasted it at 225 degrees overnight in my oven. This jelly is just amazing. And since I'm going to be making pork pies, isn't that beautiful? That's going in the fridge. Now this is 2 or 3 inches of cold water. Now this is the drippings I've been saving. And it looks pretty nasty because it's layer after layer of drippings. Like, that's nasty, folks. That really is. This is bacon drippings and all kinds of stuff. But it's not nasty when you're going to wash it. Now that's a lot of fat, so I'm going to add about probably another couple of quarts of cold water. And we're going to turn this on until it comes to a boiling bubble. Okay? Our thing is we don't want it to boil, boil, boil. We want it to come up to a simmer. And then we want it to melt the fat, and then we're going to put it back in the fridge. Okay, now that this is all melted, we're going to put this in the fridge and let the fat float to the top and the dirty water float to the bottom. And this is how the fat looks after the second wash. So let's get this scraped off the top and see what the water looks like. Okay, so here's our pot of fat, and here's our pot of cold water, and we're going to dig this up for a third washing. So if you remember, the first time I took the fat off, the bottom was jelly. Look how much nicer this color is on this fat. And if I can do it, look at this. I have flipped the fat over, and we're just going to scrape the nasties off the bottom and leave them with the water. Rinse that off and lift that whole piece in there, and there it is. And again, we're going to melt this in the cold water. Well, we're going to turn the water up and cook it for its third wash. Okay, our fat is all melted, and this will be considered our third wash. I'm going to put the lid on this and put it in the fridge, and tomorrow we'll be back for wash number 4. Okay, folks, here is our fat after the third wash. Look how good it's looking. Isn't that beautiful? I'm just going to skim this off so I can show you the water underneath. Okay, so I'm just going to strain the rest of this and we'll be back. Okay, so here's the last of our fat, and back into cold, fresh water. And I do believe this will be our last boiling. You can see now that our fat is much, much cleaner. And I'm just going to take it off the heat now and put it in the fridge, and tomorrow we'll make soap. Okay, so you can see that our fat is beautiful and white, and there is no odor. So I'm going to now turn on our scale, and we're going to weigh the bowl, and then we're going to tear it off. I'm just scraping it off the top of the water. This water is beautiful and clean. Now that I've got a hole through to the water, I'm going to pour the water off. And there is exactly 5 pounds of fat. Okay, so we have 2.5 pounds of lard in each crock. Now we're going to mix up our water lye solution. Okay, so since we are doing it 2.5 pounds in each crock, I'm just going to show you how to make one batch because I'm just going to be doing it with 2. Okay, so first we're going to weigh our jar and then we're going to tare it so it zeroes off. Now, for 2.5 pounds of fat, we need 5.35 ounces of lye. There is exactly 3.5 ounces of lye. Okay, now we've tared it off again, and we are going to need 11.6 ounces of water. Now they tell you to use filtered water, but I'm on a well, so I'm good with that. 11.6. Now I'm going to put my measuring cup, and it has to be a non-reactive, heat-resistant container. So this is Pyrex. So while it's on the granite counter, I have it on a heat pad, and we're just going to very carefully pour in our lye. Always add the lye to the water, never the water to the lye, or you can splash yourself. So you should always have a spray bottle with vinegar in it standing by in case you splash this on your skin. Spraying vinegar on it will neutralize it. And we're just going to stir this. You can actually hear it change as it dissolves. Okay, so our fat is well melted, and I've turned it now down to low because I had it on high to melt it. And now we're just going to pour in our lye water, and we're just going to hit it with the immersion blender until it comes to a trace for about 3 minutes. Okay, that's beautiful. Now we're going to put our lid on it, and we're just going to leave it be for 1 hour. So we're going to set our cowgirl, and when this dings, we'll be back. Okay, so our timer has gone off. Oh, and look at our lovely soap. Now remember, folks, if you're adding scent, which I'm not because this is just for laundry, now would be the time to do it. Scent or color or whatever, now would be the time because it won't burn the scent off. Here I've just got 3 1-quart cartons cut out and cleaned out. I'm just going to now, after I've stirred it, I'm just going to start filling up my milk cartons. And the best part about hot pros soap is the minute it's cooled, it's ready to use. Okay, so our soap is quite soft still. If you see, I can push my thumb into it there. But that's not going to be a problem because this will dry. It will shrink some, but this will dry. So here's the soap. It actually took 6 weeks to cure. It's uncommon for hot process soap. And here's why. I'm going to show you. Okay, here we come to the reason that my soap took 6 weeks to cure. Normally with hot process soap, it is ready to use the moment it cools down inside the form. But I didn't cook it long enough, so it wasn't thick enough. It should be like a thick porridge consistency rather than pouring it like pudding, as you see here. So my recommendation, folks, is if it's too liquidy, cook it for at least another 15 minutes to a half an hour. This is the Mrs. Wolfie from our half-acre homestead saying, making soap from fat drippings. And I made the mistakes for you too. Take care, God bless.